I go first, Liam.
Hey guys, my name's liammc90. Been speedrunning for I want to say about a year, give or take. Code Veronica's one that I started running around about 6 months ago, and I just fell in love with it because it's quite possibly the only Resident Evil game out there that I can safely say I'm better at than my commentator, who's now going to disagree with me.
Completely. Hi, I'm Matt RPD. I also play a lot of Resident Evil games in a speedrun format. It's my pleasure to be here with Liam today to help raise some money for the animals. So, when you're ready, Liam, we'll make a start.
Yeah, right. Do you want to count us in?
Can count us in, yeah. So, 3, 2, 1, and go. Firstly, I just want to reiterate that whatever Liam's just said, completely ignore him. There's no game that he's better than the me at. It's completely false, everyone. So just to put that out there. We're doing new game plus category. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks good. So I'm not sure if there's anybody in chat that has played Resident Evil before, but if you haven't played it, I think you should. So many great games within the franchise. But today, as you can see, we're playing Resident Evil Code Veronica. This is the Dreamcast version. Now, there is two different versions, am I right, Liam? So
Yeah.
you've got the Code Veronica X version, which is in fact the PlayStation 2 port. And we're using that title today because it's a more popular directory. But in fact, this one is just the Resident Evil Code Veronica title, which has lesser cinematics, as some minor changes. I don't know if what you know of it, Liam. But there's some cutscenes that you miss out on.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the big one that I know of. There's no Wesker cinematic.
Yeah, Code Veronica's a great game, Megatalica. It really is. It's definitely my top 5, I must admit. But as you see, Liam had a clean. You didn't have a clean graveyard. Ideally, you want to try and avoid that first zombie grab, but it's a marathon format. We can allow that. I think the big question is, though, folks, can we get to $400? We're on $397 right now. Surely there's got to be someone with $5. There has to be somebody.
I thought we were making that line then.
I was going to say, I'm slightly behind on the channel, so when you made that noise, I've not even saw that yet. I mean, ideally, if you got a quick second, could you stream it as well in the Discord so I could watch it? But that's when you got a second. If not, don't worry about it if it's too much pressure.
Yeah, I'll look at
Don't worry about it if it's too much to do, mate. I'll watch it as is on the live channel here on Runs to Rescue.
That's alright. I'll take me a sec.
There you go, buddy. Thanks, mate.
Oh dear. Oh, what's going on here?
I broke it.
No, so the control layout is different on Dreamcast than what it is, on the HD version. So on the HD version, if you're using a PlayStation 4 controller, you're going to be pressing share, obviously, to skip cutscenes. By pressing share on the Dreamcast version, what it actually does is it puts the emulator into turbo mode.
Yeah. I must admit though, it looks fantastic on this. Game's frozen, has it? I don't think it has. It seems fine on my end.
No, it would have done on the marathon. It's another strange one. There's some weird confliction between this emulator and OBS. So sometimes it's weird because if you've not got OBS in focus, it doesn't seem to pick the game up. It's never came across anything like that before.
Hey, Des Chain, welcome on in. Yes, I'm saying $5. For anybody that speedruns this game, I think it's fair to say a lot of the reset points are at the beginning. There's so many encounters with zombies, so many tight angles. So as you can see here, Liam's getting the padlock key, and it just makes it easier for a quicker return later on in the game. Well, it's twice, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah.
So that gate you just went past there is... Yeah.
That's something I've noticed with this version over the HD version as well, is that the dogs seem to go under the cabin. And I don't know if I've ever seen that in the HD version. So it's... I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really have any sort of bearing on you. Because you still don't get, you don't get caught by them much anyway.
Absolutely, Twan. You can jump in. Well, give us a minute just so we can get out this graveyard. But I think we've had I'll let the host do that. Read out the donations. But we've had a donation, or maybe a couple, it seems.
Oh, hello.
But I'll wait till you get out this graveyard, because, I know you're not that good at this game, and I don't want you to die.
Oh, man. The line of them there was just horrendous.
Yeah, if the host wants to tune in now, just, by all means.
All right, yeah. I've actually got the stream muted, so definitely let me know in Discord so I can... It's my setup. Not ideal. $2 from Matt RPD's Tiny D. Is it safe to come out now?
Wow. That's not me, by the way.
Oh. And $20.90 from Oscar with no comment. Thank you both for your donations.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
$20. There we go. Just need someone to do the 80 now, and then we hit the goal. No pressure. I mean, I'm very good at getting money out of people. Now, if Liam was playing the cutscenes, there's a nice little there's a difference between the Code Veronica and the Code Veronica X version. Is the how Steve looks, the appearance of Steve. Now, in the Code Veronica version, he looks like his hair is very much like Leonardo DiCaprio out of Titanic. And they changed it in the Code Veronica X version in case they were scared to be sued. I don't know if you knew that.
Do you know what? I actually didn't know.
No, it's true. So if you look at the versions of Steve based on this version you're playing and the HD version, yeah, there's a massive difference in the hair. You have to come up with a new goal tomorrow. Is this day 1 by any chance of the event?
I think it's day 2 if memory serves.
Okay. So we're actually heading out to this godforsaken place. We've got the emblem, we've done the clone and the duplication, and we're out. We're leaving.
Now, what's funny with this particular game, there's a glitch that somebody found that's... I don't know why they bothered to find it, because it's absolutely useless. But the medallion, obviously, that you have to clone in order to get through that gate, there is actually a glitch whereby you can take that through the metal detection room, so you wouldn't, in effect, it cuts out the need to clone it. But then when you get to the gate, you can't use it. The game doesn't register it.
Wow. Wow.
So imagine finding that glitch, thinking, this is brilliant, I've just saved myself a load of... Oh wait, no I've not.
Which version do you prefer playing? Is there a version?
Um,
You've been playing a lot of this version at the moment, the Dreamcast version. But have you got a favourite?
I would probably say this if it had door skip.
Is it because of how it looks? Because obviously,
Yeah,
unless you, yeah, because I think it's fair to say with the PlayStation 3 emulator, it's a bit dark, isn't it, in places, and it doesn't look as good as this version here. I feel.
yeah, exactly. The beginning section definitely.
Yeah,
There's a
rough, isn't
huge
it? Yeah.
difference. Oh wow, my cursor just went flying all over the show there.
Are you controller or you're using controller right?
Yeah, just did it again.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, we did actually. We had a chat between a couple of us to try and find something we could do to speed this version up. And the only thing really that we came up with, or that Moggle and Megatalica came up with, was to use the turbo emulator during the door animations.
Is that what you've been doing?
No, it goes at like 10 times speed when you press it. I'll do it on one door to just show you an example, but it doesn't affect it in terms of IGT, so I just don't bother doing it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do it on the next door.
Rep G Suspenser, welcome on in, bud.
See?
Yeah, I see what you mean. So you've got to be like, yeah. Are you doing the health glitch on this as well?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay. Is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
So what Liam's just done there, folks, on the speedrun category for, well, speedrun game of Code Veronica, the glitch category is more popular than the glitchless. And what that means is that it's a very simple glitch, even though I don't do it myself, by the way, where you could basically go into your, well, is it like the red book?
Yeah, the playing manual, yeah.
Yeah, you go into the playing menu. Oh, in fact, you should probably explain this better than me. So if you want to go ahead and
Yeah, so
explain it.
So there's two main glitches. Well, there's two glitches. So there's the one that I use with the health items, which gives you infinite uses, and there's one with ammo. Both of them are done exactly the same way. So you basically trigger the glitch by opening the playing manual through the file menu as opposed to in your actual item menu. You have to do it that way because otherwise the glitch won't work. Now, when you're using the herb glitch, you finish activating the glitch by firing the pistol once. Now, you can try and shoot for the second time to confirm for yourself that it's worked. And what will happen is you won't be able to shoot. But then anytime you then go to use that herb, it's not going to disappear when you use it. And the reason that I use that glitch over the ammo glitch is because I do get, I do take quite a bit of damage.
There you go. I do like the look of this game. It looks great. Just how to say. I thought, is that? Oh, the time's not on your end. So is that you, Liam? Can you
Yeah, it's on my end.
Shrink it a bit more. Can you shrink it a bit more? Seems a bit bold and big. Just seems like it's. Yeah,
That
just
better?
make it more. Yeah, that's better, a lot better. Because I'm just thinking when you go into the hour mark, you're gonna be like, yeah, sorted now. Yeah, leave it at that, Brill.
Speaking of which, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
Got another $2 donation from RttR's Tiny D.
Who is this?
Says, yes, it was me, Kappa. I will give a hint. I am a RttR sub. Thank you for the money.
Yeah, keep the money coming.
422.
Fantastic, thank you. It's bloody one of you. I don't mind, keep it coming. Keep saying that all night.
Don't you think, Matt, that the way that you dodge zombies in this game is just strange?
It's the strangest one. It's a completely different thought process. So what Liam's just said there is, out of any other RE game, Resident Evil game, you kind of want to be as far away as possible when it comes to, you know, avoiding zombies. However, on this game, you want to kind of, the closer you are, technically usually means you'll dodge it. You know what I mean? Because it's weird, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you want to play outwards, but then inwards to then get the dodge. It's just odd.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have to bait them in,
Yeah.
to a sense.
It's a bit like Resident Evil 1 HD, isn't it? Where you try and run into them to get them to draw out of attack and then you avoid and...
Yeah, very similar actually, yeah.
But I'd say this is the strangest because it's still technically like the old RE style format. Like, what you do on this one in terms of avoiding wouldn't necessarily work on Resident Evil Classic 1 and 2, or even 3. Well, actually 3 is a different ball game, isn't it? Because you've got the weird aim dodge thing.
Yeah, three's a run that I can't get it.
But you've got to enjoy it to an extent, I suppose.
I think the best time I've had on 3 OG was about 56 minutes, but that was using Gemini's version, you know, with the favourable RNG.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether or not you're allowed to use that.
I'll fancy some ice cream. Got the urge. Fancy a McFlurry.
Oh, do you know what? I've got some, not Magnums, but some other version of them in the freezer. But they're salted caramel. They're so nice.
What's the favourite ice cream? Well, what flavoured? I like vanilla. I'm very boring, Repg. But I like everything ordinary to a degree. Like, I don't want all this crazy stuff on it. I just want a nice bowl of ice cream, just pure and simple. That's all I want. It's like my meat. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't want all this stuff added to me. If I want a steak, I want a steak.
I got another one when you.
Yeah, carry on, mate. Just jump in whenever you want. Casual.
Got a theme here. Matt RPD's lawyer.
Oh,
you got
God.
a lawyer? $2.
Look, they can say whatever they want to me. I don't really give a damn. If they're giving the money...
Where I am is it's not after hours, but I'll read it anyway. I will not disclose any info about Matt's private parts as he's only here for this commentary and helping the doggos and the kidders. Thank you for the $2.
Yeah.
I want to know who's behind this now.
Oh, it's going to be Megatallica, isn't it? Because I can smell it on his breath. I mean... Oh, it could be RepG, though.
My old roommate, and I've mentioned this to RepG during the run yesterday, that my old roommate's run several RE games, and he's probably mad at me for posting so many at once, so... I'll let him know later.
Oh, it's RepG!
It was RepG. Well, thank you very much, buddy, but, you know, you're pushing your luck right now. You know what? Keep it coming, keep it coming. For sweet animals. I have to apologise. I know. Literally, this is like I've just come into this a second ago. Like, I wasn't, and I don't really know much about the charity, so I'm not sure if I should Google it. Or if the host wants to just do a little 2-minute sketch. No pressure, like.
Yeah, no, I can do it real quick. I've done it a few times. Basically, the charity is the Wake County SPCA. Wake County's in Raleigh, North Carolina is. I'm saying it backwards. Raleigh, North Carolina is in Wake County, and that's where I adopted my dog, Remy. and it's where another organizer, someone that's helped with the music, Vigilant Baker, his dog Zia, when we both lived in North Carolina, we adopted our dogs from the Wake County SPCA. And we know someone that's volunteered for the Wake County SPCA. It's a great organization for dogs, for rescuing dogs, rescuing cats, other small animals, hamsters, rabbits, and whatnot. We both love the organization. Obviously, we wouldn't have adopted if that wasn't the case. So I have a story with my dog. My dog had heartworm, and they took care of all the treatment. I didn't have to pay for it, so I felt like I need to do something to kind of give back. That was 7 years ago, so I'm finally in a position where I can organize a marathon to kind of help out, and obviously giving myself. So it's in this case it's pretty personal one because it's directly where I got my dog and where my friend got his dog from. So
sure.
That's the charity.
Thank you for that. It's
Yeah,
it's good to hear. There's a story behind the charity, so yeah, at least it's personal to you. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and big charities are also great too. If you do your due diligence and research and understand the charity. But this one, I've been there multiple times. My friends, we know someone that's worked there many times. So yeah, we know what's up with this organization, with this facility.
Fantastic. I think there's been another cheeky donation as well, hasn't there?
Sorry, I just muted it. Yes. $5 from Matt RPD isn't the best gamer of all time. The comment just says it all. So there you thank you for the $5.
Don't give me. Stop mentioning. Talk about Liam's name. Don't mention my name.
Bring him money.
Yeah,
Hey, whatever brings in the bread, dude.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh dear.
And you're more than welcome to add that money to Daisy on that poll. That's the next run. That's why I dropped it in there and kept refreshing the stream. Everyone loves Donkey Kong apparently for the Super Mario Party run that's coming up after this.
So just to clarify, explain the left-hand side. Like, is it just a character? Oh.
Yeah, so it's going to be a challenge road, normal. So it's just Mario Party, and you pick a character. Whatever character you choose is who Filthy Scrub Game's going to play with. And you'll see there's fastest character and slowest character. Bowser Jr. is, speedrun wise the fastest. Waluigi also, for a meme, is a good choice for a pick, but it is actually the slowest character out of all the playable characters. And then Daisy was my personal pick, and then Donkey Kong was another friend of mine's personal pick. And right now DK is running away with it.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd post it just for this run, just because it's gone after this run.
What Resident Evil games have been on the showcase during this event?
Just for this event, there's been a run of Rep G ran RE2 remake, and there's going to be another RE2 remake run later today. But I've had other events where my former roommate Dagger 7 ran Resident Evil Rando, RE3, not the remake, just RE3. I think that's it. That may be it, just those two.
Who's running the RE2 remake later?
That's Wildfire 011. I know him from Uncharted speedrunning, relatively big Uncharted runner.
Uncharted, I love that game.
That's where I met a number of buds, Oscari and a few others, because I've run. I had an okay time back in the day in UC1, not so much anymore.
Well, that's the one because I know we're getting off track here, Liam. Sorry, but
No, that's fine.
like brutal mode, I did all the trophy hunting, and I used to be able to clip through the wall. Where you you aim. So I used to be able to do some speedrun tricks.
That's critical for the if you're not doing glitchless, that's the trick to know.
Okay, I love the Nathan Drake franchise. I think it's just wonderful. Wonderful.
You'll find a lot of lovers of that franchise amongst the people that find themselves around me.
That's great. That's basically why I found out about that the gun skip thing, because I wouldn't have done it without it. I'm telling you now, it's hard. It's like one hit, you're dead. Yeah, literally.
think I got another one. I need to pay closer attention. $2 from Forgive Me Senpai Matt RPD. No comment.
Keep them coming. I don't just say anything you want. I don't care. It's for the animals, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. Thank you for the donations. We all appreciate it very much. Thank you.
There's a little bit of a boundary on what you can say, but you haven't crossed it yet. So.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, there is a certain, just be sure of the rules.
I added the Wake County SPCA on Twitter, and they didn't respond. So as far as I know, they don't know this is happening. So
yeah, as long as I don't start shooting.
They don't know that potentially inappropriate things are being said.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I've really messed something up.
Can you just take the health, or would it just? I'll keep on going.
No, it won't go.
Oh
dear!
You're gonna go all the way back.
What have I not done?
What are we? Absolutely, Reptree. This is part of the route, by the way. This is what you need to do. You actually need to say those words that Liam's just said as it unlocks a secret area, so the game can read into what you're saying. So he's going somewhere now. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm panicking now. This is
just go to the chest and bank some items. You know where the chest is, up the stairs.
Do you know what it is? It's because I'm so used to running any percent, and
I don't know what you use. Why are you playing New Game Plus?
Just because that's what I decided to do. I don't know.
Mad lad.
Yeah, on any percent by this stage, you'd have binned off the blue key card.
That's what it is. Oh, so you've used it now, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's the biohazard key card, but either way, I just needed one.
Yeah, but have you cleared your item now then? Show me your inventory.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but Mega, no one cares. I didn't ask for your input. You know what I mean? You were playing New Game Plus by yourself in the stars. Shut up, man. Look, he's been giving it all day, Liam. He's been giving it all day. So, he deserves to have some back.
This is the first time, believe it or not, that I've made a massive mistake like that on a marathon.
Ah, bad really. Only a minute, a couple of minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mega, I reckon you got $9. That's what I reckon. If you disrespect.
I know what it is. So normally, New Game Plus, you wouldn't bother picking up the knife because you don't need it. But the reason I do pick it up is I bank the rocket launcher for Chris before the Nosferatu fight. So I'll keep the knife with me just in case, I don't get a particularly good fight.
Yeah.
I actually used to go and pick the AK-47 up as a safety strap for the Nosferatu fight. That's how much I used to panic for that boss. I should still finish well within estimate.
Oh, you got, what was 2 hours 15 estimate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it should be easy.
Yeah, I went 2:15 because I reckon that the door animations adds between 35 to 40 minutes. I reckon.
Yeah.
And then obviously marathon, so you always stick a few more minutes on. So the HD version with door skip, I think the last PB I ran on that was something like 123, something like that.
Yeah, I think yeah, you'll be fine. At the end of the day, you want to take some precautions during a marathon event, like exactly what RttR said.
Yeah, yeah.
You always get things to go wrong. I always take safety shots nowadays. Just do, because it's not worth it then when, I've been in situations where I couldn't get out of a situation because of taking risks.
There was one that I remember watching you on, and for a change, I genuinely felt sorry for you.
Is that the one on RE2 original when first
No, it's RE2 remake.
Was that Claire B?
Could have been, yeah.
But I didn't die. I think I had I think I was in danger a lot, wasn't I, early on?
Yeah, you just seem to keep getting tanked at the beginning. You still finished the run.
Mate, my head was gone that day. Like, it was the day I got partnered, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, my head was just gone. And then being on that event as well. ESA. Whew.
Oh, yeah, it was ESA, wasn't it? No. Oh.
So I was like, it's just everything was just too much going on. Just, and all that happened early on. It was just it settled down after that. It's just that first 20 minutes it felt. And Claire B is pretty rough anyway. You play the B scenarios on a marathon.
Yeah. The only way I'd be playing a B scenario on RE2 remake in any sort of marathon setting would be New Game Plus. There's no way I'd be doing it on standard.
Absolutely.
Oh, you little... Oh, hello! Wow, he really wanted a bit of Claire then.
Can you imagine, RttR? You can imagine. I think I've only ever completed knife only on Leon. I've done Claire knife only at some point.
I imagine Leon A would be the most popular category for knife only.
Possibly, yeah. I would say that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking, obviously, Super Tyrant over G4 and no G5.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the B scenarios. To be honest, the final G5, final boss on B scenarios with a knife is what you do anyway. So it's not like it's. But then again, I always really like G3. Unless you're doing a high FPS, it's troublesome. So if you 60 FPS, it's a bit of a meme.
Yeah.
So. What I liked about this game, Code Veronica, though, is the amount of puzzles that there are. There's a lot of inputs, a lot of different codes, a lot of different things to think about. They might be small and minor, but they are.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them.
The first time you play this first time, you can gain some hours out of this game. Let me tell you. And the second time and the third.
Yeah, for people that don't speedrun this game, you're talking. I'd say between 5 and 6 hours for a casual player to run this. Yeah, maybe more. Yeah.
And the best, you play this first time, you get done in 6 hours. That's great. But yeah. I was just about to touch on that. As a lot of people aware in the chat, there's, as you know, a lot of Resident Evil games within the franchise. Code Veronica was meant to be Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. That's a fact. It was supposed to be named Resident Evil 3. This was, but then there was an issue between PlayStation at the time. Sony wanted the third game on PS1, whilst this was already being developed on a higher console. I think that's right. And then in the end, they just knocked up Resident Evil 3 Nemesis to satisfy Sony's needs. Yeah, true. Yeah, this was meant to be Resident Evil 3. And it, Liam, true. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Proper, like, legit, yeah.
I think it was an argument between Sony and Sega, wasn't it? So Sony wanted exclusive rights to it or something along those lines.
I can't remember exactly. I can't remember if it was anything. I think Sega might have just took it because I thought, well, yeah. But if you Google it, what's the money? I'll just quick Google that.
I got another one, another dono.
Yeah, fire away, mate. Yeah.
Death Chain, $15. Have to do my part for the dogs. Thank you so much for the $15.
Thank you very much, Death Chain.
But as Sony wanted the sequel to Resident Evil 2 and bartered for it, Capcom then decided to give it a number, while at the same time removing the number from the true sequel, Resident Evil Code Veronica. There you go. So Code Veronica is the real Resident Evil 3.
Which one of them takes place first?
Well, obviously, RE3 and 2 kind of simultaneously, you know, between each other at times. Code Veronica is after Resident Evil 2. This is when Claire obviously escapes, you know, Raccoon City and goes off to find her lost brother Chris. So obviously Chris disappears to try and fight Umbrella. Hence what you're doing now. You're on the, you know, you're searching for Chris. What you think you are. And then obviously she gets sent to prison. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Just see if off, like saying, you know, coming off. I was supposed to be off to be fair anyway. I just thought I'd come and help you for a bit.
No worries, pal.
So there you go, some history, some knowledge. It's both close together though, isn't it, Chain? It really is. Mate, some donations coming here, so yeah, go, I'll let you do the honour.
Well, that is extremely generous. Matt RPD's Youngling. I think that's the top dono, $54 for the doggos and yes, the kidders. So I'm gonna have to put in some thought about something for tomorrow for another, you know, something else to extend the goal a little bit. But yeah, that's a lot. Thank you so much for the $54. That's I'm not expressing the amount of amazement at this well enough. I really do appreciate this. It's super meaningful to me. So thank you so much for these donations.
Fantastic. Des Chain, thanks for the $15, and that RPD's Youngling. I'm assuming it's Rep G. It is Rep G. Thank you so much for the donations, for hitting $500, man. Well done, everyone. Everyone involved from the staff, even though it's one person, it seems doing a lot of the back tech stuff, which is amazing.
Oscari's helped out a ton, and I'm not as tech literate as I could be.
Okay.
But without Oscari's help, it would have been harder to get these transitions right and have everyone set up with each person's unique, you know, streaming setup. So he's helped a ton. So definitely,
yeah.
And all the music in the intermissions, there's 10 tracks. Vigilant Baker, he made every single one of those. He even has an album cover for the album for Runs to the Rescue. I don't know how many speedruns have an album. So he just made the music. So
yeah,
well, no DMCA issues there.
It's really appreciated. So well done, everyone. Fantastic.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Liam, I'm gonna have to shoot, dude. I thought I'd come in and help you for a bit, buddy. Obviously, it's all last minute for me, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, I appreciate you jumping in. Like you say, so last minute as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if Twan wants to just tune in whenever he wants to.
Yeah,
chip in.
Thank you so much for apparently bringing in the money.
That's what they call me. Mr. Money. But have a good event, Liam. I'll see you later, buddy. Take care, guys. Bye now.
Yeah, take it easy, Matt, mate. Thanks for coming in.
No worries. Bye now. Bye.
Yeah, big big respect to Matt there for doing that, guys. Because when we say last minute, it was literally a minute or two before we went live that he messaged saying, look, I'll come in and do a bit of comms for you for a bit. So big respect to him there for that.
I got the message and I was like, yeah, you can come in. Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely don't regret it.
Matt's a great guy, Matt. I mean, I give him tons of grief, like on a daily basis, but he is a really good guy. Do you know what I mean?
I'm all about those kinds of friendships. Very familiar. Especially amongst speedrunners, there's definitely some banter that happens that, if you're on the outside, you're like, those dudes might hate each other? Not sure? No, that's not how it is.
Yeah, if you're not giving each other grief, then you're doing it wrong. So there's a tiny little bit of a routing difference here, guys, obviously, between New Game Plus and any percent. So in a normal run, ideally in that corridor, you'd go right down to the bottom first before coming into the cabin, because you want to be going getting the BOW rounds. Now, we don't need to do that because we've got a, don't know if you've noticed, a really big rocket launcher. So we don't need any rounds. But yeah, usually you would go down and pick those rounds up. And they're the most important rounds in the game, in my opinion.
I think Death Chain kind of has it like, I have two options when I'm speedrunning. I can either like get down on myself about a bad run, or I can just like kind of rib my friends that are also speedrunners and kind of get that energy out of my system that way.
Yeah.
That's how I consider it.
Well, I mean, Matt was sort of touching on this game earlier about reset points, and thinking back, I'm not sure if I've ever actually reset a run on this game. Probably should have done like multiple times, but it's just, I mean, it's a really long run anyway, do you know what I mean? So you don't want to be resetting too much.
Well, that's funny because that roommate of mine, Dagger, like I watched him run, RE3, the original, and I feel like that's all I ever saw him do is reset. It's like a reset machine, it seems like.
Yeah, that's what I used to be like when I was running RE2 Remake. I used to reset a lot, especially within RPD1. I'd probably reset it a good 5-6 times before I eventually got into a run.
Yeah, and I guess that was for RE3. I guess that was before. I know there's like I'm not too familiar with Resident Evil speedrunning, but I know there's like the deal towards the very beginning with the what is it? It's like a Magnum or something. I know that there was like some issue with like resetting if you got a certain weapon in that one area in RE3. But...
Yeah, when you get to RPD, there's a locker that you're quite right. You can end up getting a grenade launcher, or you can get a Magnum, and you want the grenade launcher.
And I guess that was like a thing in the community, was debating whether the tool was like Sorry, I'm talking about RE3 and not Code Veronica. It's it's on my list because I'm used to watching Dagger do runs of 3. I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, the original version of RE3, it's just, there's so much RNG involved in that game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I guess I've technically been on a couch for commentary for a live event run of RE3 for him at a DreamHack event, but I wasn't really. It was me and like I think the level best I think was also on the couch with me, so like I was just there for show.
Thinking about it, there's not a huge amount of RNG in this fight. In this game, other than the boss fights, really. So Nosferatu on the heliport, if you'd call it a heliport, on the rooftop we'll call it. His movement and his actions there, that's quite RNG related. But this game's not exactly RNG heavy.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen maybe like no damage attempts kind of stall at that fight. I feel like because of how erratic that fight can be sometimes. Maybe if I'm recalling correctly.
Oh yeah, I bet a lot of no damage runs have ended there. I think the hardest run I've known on this game for the Nosferatu fight is probably knife only.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this game knife only is just, it's hell. Because
Actually, that might have been what I was watching. Not a no damage, but maybe it was a knife only. I can't remember.
Possibly, yeah. Well, there's basically any of the boss fights, things can just go horribly wrong. So you got Bridge Tyrant, who, you know, if he gets too close to you, there's an insta-kill opportunity. Nosferatu and Alexia 1, they've got the ability to insta-kill. I don't believe Alexia 2 has, but she's just, it takes so much damage. I mean, all the rest of the game, to be fair, on a knife-only run, is relatively easy because the knife in this game is just, I mean, it's amazing. It's like you're using a samurai sword or something.
Say, like I said, that Super Mario Party runs next. If anyone is interested, if anyone's going to hang around for that, wants to see someone that isn't Donkey Kong, if you want to give to that, that's it's pretty much going to be Donkey Kong at this point if no one does anything about it. I'll be brainstorming an additional milestone to add now that we've somehow, like halfway, maybe a little over halfway through this day, we've hit 500 already. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's brilliant, guys. Well done.
The first, I've run events before. This is my 5th overall event, my 3rd 3-day long event. But this is the first time it's been on this channel. It's the first time I'd made it like publicly. It's usually been like within my own kind of community. People would submit. So it's, unless you followed me on Twitter, you wouldn't know that the event ever existed. This was the first time I put it on Oangus, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm very happy that I had all the submissions that I had. I'm happy that it's gone so well so far and blown me away. I tried to temper my expectations by setting it to, in my opinion, was kind of an okay-ish amount. If we hit 500, I'm very happy, overall for the event. So the fact that we've done it already is just absurd to me. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's always a great feeling when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, and I just personally, like I've said, offline before the run started, I just enjoyed putting these events together. It's kind of a fun challenge to kind of get everything scheduled and get everyone on the right page and get everything set up appropriately. And
yeah, of course,
it's an interesting tech challenge.
How many more runs are left for today's?
For today, there's 3 more because there's 3 longer runs. Like the rest of the runs, yours included, are all over an hour. But Super Mario Party, then Wild's remake run, and then Sekiro's after that, and then we're done for the night.
Yeah. I think what's impressed me the most with you guys today is the fact that you pretty much bang on schedule. Usually, a lot of marathons that I've watched, it gets to day 2, where we're at now, day 2, 6 hours in, and you're like 35-40 minutes behind.
Well, and some of it, so there's probably 2 reasons why that's the case. One is, this isn't a 24-hour event, so I can always reset, overnight, because we're not going, all the way through. I would be dead if that was the case. So that, I can at least kind of reset and be on time at the beginning of the next day.
Yeah.
But also, historically, at least with my past events, and it was still the case on the description of the event, is that this is geared toward, I try to promote. I'm not trying to be like an ESA or GDQ, or like I'm going to take like I don't know if ESA's like that, but like, the highest quality tier runs. I'm all about like accessibility and like, anyone can speed run and almost hit a really bad button on OBS. Almost exited OBS. So like a lot of like newer runners and a lot of newly learned speed runs get submitted, and then a month and a half passes, and of course, if you submitted a game that you had just learned a month and a half ago, and now you're running it a month and a half later, that estimate you submitted is probably pretty generous at this point. So if anything, the problem I deal with is that runs get finished too early, and then I have to fill time, which I would much rather. I can deal with either situation, but if you made me choose underestimate or overestimate, I'll absolutely take underestimate. So that's kind of a blessing built into the theme of this event being, new runners or a new game that you just learned, because over that time you're just going to keep, cutting that time over and over and over. So.
No, of course.
Me as an event runner.
But it's like you say as well, about making it so accessible, because, I, for one, I've never submitted to GDQ, simply because, I don't feel I'm a good enough speedrunner to submit. I've submitted to ESA once, and again, I was really umming and ahhing about that, thinking, well, is there going to be much point?
I should submit to ESA. That's something I've not done. I've submitted to there's a number of marathons I like try to prioritize. I mean, if you're a speedrunner, you at some point you're submitting to GDQ, because that's the thing, right? That's sort of feels like it's the holy grail at this point. The I don't know, World Cup, WrestleMania, pick your main event. It's that. And there are other, large ones as well. If you're an RPG runner, you got RPG Limit Break. If you're, you've got ESA, obviously, and, other relatively large ones. But, I have others that I focus on because I know the people that run those events.
Yeah.
I like to run for them too. Because, that idea that you'll just become famous if you run at, ESA or GDQ. Sometimes if you deliver just a killer run, then maybe you'll get a, little boost to your following, but that's dubious at best. So I try to just do whatever I think is going to lead to a good time, and let the rest fall into place from there.
See, I just like submitting into events with this game, because I feel like it's not really a game that you see at events all that much. But again, that's probably something to do with the length. And
that's actually a good point. There are events that are geared toward longer runs, but typically you see those runs. Those are like RPGs or something, and it seems like you forget about like maybe longer runs that aren't RPGs, and they kind of fall between the cracks. But I guess 215 doesn't compare to like I don't know, Persona 5, which is like a 17-hour run. That's a different ball game. That's much longer.
That's a slog and a half. That's 17 hours. Imagine.
I run a number of RPGs, so I'm familiar with like a 4-hour speed run.
Imagine going through a run of that length for it to die at the end. I'd be furious.
It's weird because I've run a game where my PB is 3 hours and 31 minutes, and like I'll have a run die like 2 hours and 25 minutes in, and it won't upset me as much as like a game that's like 16 minutes long. And it's weird how my brain works, and I'm sure other runners are like that. Where it's almost like my brain has convinced me that like I just can't comprehend how much time I just wasted. It's like, all right, whatever. Just let's try it again some other day, I guess.
You know what though? I do sort of understand what you mean as well though, because like there's quite a few different Resident Evils that I run, or I attempt to run anyway. And I do seem to find that it irritates me more losing pace or losing a run on one of the shorter ones than, say, it does on this. I think the good thing for me with this, when I do lose a run or I do lose pace, is because I just naturally enjoy the game so much anyway, it doesn't bug me as much, and I'm able to just say, well, you know, let's just finish the run anyway, you know, get the practice in for the later stages. Whereas if it was, say, RE1 OG and I get bitten by yawn, you know, I'm wanting to punch the wall.
It's almost like maybe a kind of a fake feeling. I mean, it's not really a fake feeling, I guess, but like you're probably going to do more attempts of much shorter runs anyway, so you're kind of you probably have that burden, or I guess burden's the right word, the burden on yourself of like, I should be doing better than this because I've done, you know, 300 attempts of this 20-minute long run, whereas you know it's going to take a lot longer to put in 300 attempts of a 3-hour long run. So maybe that's part of the reason why, is that it just doesn't take that much to really feel like you should be improving.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've lost a run of Final Fantasy X 9.5 hours in. Oh, wow.
Well, Oscar is a different kind of speedrunner. He doesn't get upset about anything.
Kind of noticed that with the was pretty funny, because I'm sitting here thinking, I'd be wanting to murder somebody.
Definitely just laughing at that. Well, where did you lose it? What was that, Oscar? I want to know. Let's see if I can remember FF10 enough.
I don't know it as a speedrun, but I know the game. FF10's probably, alongside Code Veronica, it's probably up there with one of my favourite games of all time.
You're definitely catering to Oscari then, if you're saying that. Loves to hear that kind of stuff. Like that we're not talking much about Code Veronica, just playing the game.
I know, yeah.
I'm fine with that. I do that all the time. I've done multiple speed runs where it's just like, let's just act like the game doesn't exist and just chat.
I actually did. I mean, this was quite early on into my streaming days, but I actually did a 24-hour stream of Final Fantasy X. I mean, that was back when it was my first ever 24-hour, but it was when I was just going directly from console. So I just figured, well, I know that I can get 24 hours out of Final Fantasy X, so we'll just go with that. We'll just go with the flow.
I'm trying to think the longest I've ever done. Well, wow, that's a stupid question. I know the answer. It's one of these events. Outside of the marathon, I've probably done like 12 or 13, but I've done maybe probably a Saturday of one of these marathons. I've probably gone a while, like 14 or 15 hours maybe.
5 minutes until detonation.
We're 7 hours into this one.
Yeah, just over 7 hours, yeah. How long are the days? Are the 12-hour days?
So for me, I mean, it depends. I try to schedule it to be kind of reasonable so I don't, lose it trying to manage everything at once. But once I get into a groove, it's not that big of a deal. I started stream around 9:30 my time this morning, and we're probably going to go until about 10:30, 10:40. So that's what, 13, probably around 13 hours. So it's not the worst in the world. I can do that once a year.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
And if I end the weekend knowing I hit my goal, which we've already done, then that's that much less concern I have about my physical health. If I was playing word association with this game, I would probably just initially think of Steve. It's like the thing I think of the most when I think of Code Veronica. Maybe not speedrun wise. I don't know how much you get to hear of Steve in this.
Thankfully, not too much. I mean, I need to be careful what I say here, because I know that, well, I'm hoping anyway, a few of my friends are watching, and I know that a lot of them like Steve, but yeah, I just really don't.
What's the line I love? Like, this area is now clean. Something along those lines. It's been a while since I've heard him say it.
No, the best. If you're gonna go with Steve's best moment in this game, it has to be the father cutscene. That cutscene is
Okay.
just stuff of legend.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I have my tech set up right now is I actually have the stream muted, so I'm just watching the game with no audio. I would be hearing myself talk right now if I had it not muted.
Yeah.
So I'm missing out on a lot of the audio, all the audio. I like watching a lot of like horror type games and horror speedruns. I don't really play too many myself unless they're like really campy or like, you know, really horror adjacent. So I like to see horror speedruns, though. It kind of removes the scary element from horror games if you're just blowing past everything.
Yeah, that's true.
One I have played, a Dreamcast game, Blue Stinger. If you're familiar with that game.
I can't say I am.
And extremely campy, like Resident Evil clone. It's definitely not a scary game at all. But it's like one of the only. I guess there's maybe another horror game on the Dreamcast, a few others that are like not well known, but that one's a good one.
To be honest, this is the... Going off memory anyway, this is the only Dreamcast game that I've played. But I do need to play some more because this is one of my favourite emulators to use.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've never messed with the Dreamcast emulator. I've got 2 Dreamcasts in my closet, but they both have an issue with them, and I've been meaning to repair them because I know I can. But I don't think I'm gonna be adding any physical games anytime soon because the retro game market is out of control right now. At least for the kinds of games I'm looking for, I'm not willing to pay that kind of money for some of these games.
It didn't happen this. So just to explain there, guys, the only reason that I saved there is the version of this game that I used to have an issue when you were switching discs. So what you have to do to counteract that is create a save at that point. And obviously, if the disc won't change over, you just reset the emulator and just load disc 2 instead. But it seems like now I've got the version that's no longer an issue. I'm using RE Dream. I think it's quite aptly named for me if I'm playing a Resident Evil game on it.
That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna have to look into that while I'm being lazy about getting my Dreamcast fixed. I bought another Dreamcast because I was so lazy about repairing the one I had, and then later learned that there was an issue with that one. So,
I would definitely highly recommend this emulator.
I play a lot of RPGs, and I know there's a couple that are only on the Dreamcast, so I gotta get to those and play them.
I need to play some more RPGs. I did used to play, well, I'd say I used to play a few RPGs. I used to play a few Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, of course. That's where a lot of folks, you know, that's the starting point for a lot of people. That's the gateway drug, so to say.
Oh, these spiders are horrendous. I mean, I played one or two others. I played Summoner and Summoner 2 back in the day on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, PS2.
And there was one called Jade Cocoon that I played. But again, that's, you know, we're going years back for that one.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar. That's a PS1 game, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I don't know much about it. I just have heard of it.
Yeah, I can't really remember too much about it. That's one of the reasons that I want to play it again. I remember spending a good few hours on that back in my day.
Actually, there's a couple like horror RPGs that I really like now that I'm thinking about it. And both of them are on the PS1, Parasite Eve and Kudelka. I've done speedruns of both of those.
Parasite Eve's a fantastic game. I've never speedrun it, but I've played it casually and it's awesome.
Oh yeah, I loved it casually, and I had to give it at least a little bit of a try. I don't have a very good time on it, but I was like, let's just see. If I enjoy a game enough, I'll just do like 1 or 2 runs of a game just to see how I feel about it, and then usually never return to the game again.
Well, there's a few Resident Evil games that I said that I wouldn't run, purely because I didn't want to take the enjoyment out of it. and this was one of them. I always said I would never speedrun this game because I want to just, love the game for the game. And then I can't even remember what actually prompted me to start running this game. But thankfully, I've been able to both speedrun it and still maintain the same sort of level of enjoyment with it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to like in going back to RPGs, specifically with RPGs. Once you've kind of learned how to min max your way through a game, it's hard to like casually enjoy a game like that when you because if you're not just doing the thing that makes you broken, then I don't know, it just kind of messes with your brain. It's like, well, I kind of want to casually play it now, but I can't now that I know all the secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
Marduk, as far as the Parasite Eve goes, I know there's always conversations about like, oh, what's the next game that should be like, remade or made into some HD, blah 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 from that era. And for the longest time, I was like, I'd love to see like a new Parasite Eve that's made, in like 2022 or something. And then I thought about it for another extra second or so, and I was like, there's no way in hell I would play a new Parasite Eve. That would scare me too much. Wait, I don't actually like horror games. Part of the reason I enjoy Parasite Eve is that it's a little, it's the low polyness of it kind of removes some of the horror elements of it and allows me to enjoy it.
Oh my god, I'm getting naps. This would be another stage where I'd normally be raging now.
Mm-hmm.
These mods are just... They're the worst part about this game. And this run.
Yeah, honestly, those moths in real life would scare the hell out of me. Any insect that large would... I'm not here for that. I'm out.
See, for me, it'd be the spiders in 1, 2, and I think there's spiders. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
What's the name of that spider in 1?
Black Tiger.
Black something? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If I was to encounter that, whether or not I had a ridiculously powerful gun in my hand, that bullet would be going in my own head.
Well, that's not even arachnophobia. That's just a reasonable fear. That's not a rational fear. That's a reasonable fear. Also, like that a lot of horror games are themed around, or like the setting is like around Christmas. I don't know if any RE games are like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know that Blue Stinger game I mentioned and Parasite Eve are both set like on like in or around Christmas.
Yeah, I think Parasite Eve actually, because if I remember rightly, the story actually runs over a number of days, but I'm sure it goes through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I want to say.
Yeah, I think the first like the opening scene, like there's this, I think it like zooms past the Statue of Liberty and like closes in on, what do you call it, Rockefeller Center, and there's like the big Christmas tree and it says like Merry Christmas 1999 or something. So I think it's like Christmas Day is the first day. Koi, don't give me any of that. Look, I'm sitting here celebrating Resident Evil. Don't look. I am not a huge fan of games with tank controls, so that's why Koi brings that up. Because I tried to play Parasite Eve 2, and as soon as I learned that it had tank controls, which is obviously the very beginning of the game, I was like, oh no. My brain can't wrap. I can't wrap my brain around games with controls that they make sense, but just for some reason I can't. It hurts me to play them.
See, Parasite Eve 2, for whatever reason, I couldn't get into. The first one I absolutely loved, but the second one I just couldn't get into it.
That's funny, because I would assume that most people that were really into Resident Evil, Silent Hill, games like that would resonate more with Parasite Eve 2, which plays a lot more like a like your typical survival horror game than
Yeah.
Parasite Eve, which is like an action RPG. So that's interesting. And we don't talk about the third Parasite Eve game. It's a cursed game. Third person shooter on the PSP.
I've been poisoned again. Wow. I'm hoping
Oh
that
my gosh.
I'm hoping that the fact that the mods have been so bad to me is a good sign that Nosferatu is going to behave. Oh wow. This is definitely the worst that this section has ever gone for me.
She is not having a good time.
No, she's really not. I
A
suppose
lot
that
of us aren't familiar with the speedrun, so you can just BS any excuse for why a bad thing happened, and we're just gonna nod our heads. So.
I would like to say it's RNG related, but I mean there is an element of RNG with the mods, but there is also like a very specific line that you can take to ensure that they don't cause you any grief.
Mm-hmm. There he is, my sweet boy, Steve.
And now for my most hated boss in a Resident Evil game. Alright, well it's a good start. That's not though. Nor that. And we've been poisoned. That adds some time onto the run. So see, this isn't the normal game poison that you can just use a blue herb to cure. Mm-hmm. So it's very much the same as the snake in RE1. Oh my god. I need to land this shot now because it's my last bullet. Where is he? I need him to turn around. Oh, damn. Oh, we could end up dying.
I've got you.
Oh, we recovered that well.
Oh. That was intense.
That fight always is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That fight out of the run in its entirety, that fight is like what I like to consider now my only still inconsistent part. Now that fight there is actually completely optional. the only reason on New Game Plus that I choose to take the fight on is it's a little bit quicker to get into the elevator by killing him. So if you were playing any percent, what you would do is you just run back into the other room, come back to the elevator, and the elevator's arrived.
Oh, okay.
It's not really a difficult boss to take down, though. If you're doing S rank, whereby you have to take that fight on. I think it's 4 explosive bolts that kills him. So it's literally, a couple of seconds. The reason that people don't do it is you'd have to go out of your way to actually pick up that ammo. I'm actually running this game again tomorrow in another marathon, but that's the HD version.
Which event is it?
Horrible Games.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. I think I saw that on there. I looked to see what other events were live. Look, I'm fine talking about other events. I hit my goal. I'll stretch the goal out a little bit more, but I'm always curious about what other events are out there. I like to submit to events of all kinds every now and then, if I feel the urge. I'm gonna duck out for like a minute.
So you would be forgiven for thinking, because we've now obviously switched from Claire to Chris, that this is the midway point of the game. But it's probably slightly over midway, I want to say, or it's definitely more than midway over the run anyway. But if you're playing the game casually, then yeah, you'd probably say it's about halfway through. But Chris's section is somewhat smaller than Claire's. Oh, we've got the want to become famous bots for making their return up there.
Alright, I'm back. Oscar, I can't believe you would time out Big Moms.
I noticed that it seemed to go quiet on the want to become famous bots on Twitch for a while, and now they seem to be making somewhat of a comeback.
Yeah, I went on for my personal streaming, I've been on like a 2-month hiatus. I haven't really streamed in a while, so I don't know how things have been recently. I know around the time I stopped that things were pretty ridiculous with just all different kinds of, whatever the name of that one channel that got duplicated or whatever over and over and was
Hoss.
crappy raids and yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were around for quite a while.
No, I'm messing with you, Oscar. I don't have that bot in here that automatically bans anytime that gets posted.
See, I've got that linked to my account, but you have to activate it at the start of every stream, and I just always forget to.
Mm-hmm. think what I'm gonna do is add a new poll after this, and have that be like another additional incentive thing, and we'll see if maybe we can get people to vote on what I'll fill the empty time slot that I have under my name for with. Have some ideas, so people can vote on what I'll play. Because I've got like a 2-hour block tomorrow that's under my name that just says TBA. So what am I gonna run? I don't know.
Was that an intentional block, or have you had somebody drop out?
We had someone drop, and I set myself as a backup and just basically rejected all of my own runs. But I was going to do that intentionally because I figured there'd be at least 1 or 2 people drop out, and I've got runs of different links to kind of fill. So
yeah, you normally do get. From what I've seen, you normally do get the odd 1 or 2 that drop off. You know, obviously emergencies happening and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I was very nearly having to drop myself, but I'm glad that I didn't.
I mean, I've enjoyed the run so far. This has been good, at least a good conversation. If only there's been...
Yeah, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's been good to come on. I've really enjoyed coming on showing this for you guys, and it's obviously great to hear that the donation goal has been hit as well.
Well, and you can know that I think maybe other than the opening run where a number of people just came in and dumped the money that they were planning on donating, so we won't count that one. Just for your sake, we won't count that one. But other than that run, I think yours is the one where we've maybe gotten the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's always good to know.
I didn't run the numbers. I don't have any stats on it, but there's definitely been a large number of donations during this run. So
yeah, we'll just we don't need to look at stats. We'll say that that's what it is.
There you go. I mean, it's been, I would guess, combining all of them, close to $100. I think we were at like 3, or maybe weren't we talking about hitting 400 at the beginning of the?
Yeah. At
the beginning of the run, that what Matt said. So yeah, I feel pretty confident that other than the very first run, I think this one's been the one that brought in the most. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were sitting at 396 at the start of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
I'll scroll through the. Was it you? You were Pepega Poet? Well, I knew that was someone that I didn't actually know. And it's weird to be like, oh, let me guess this person I don't know and feel weird if it's not that person. But I was like, I'll give it a try. Well, I certainly appreciate the donation, that's for sure. If it came at the expense of a bunch of, crappy guesses and people shrugging their shoulders.
I've got a feeling based on where we are with the current time, it's going to be around. I'm going to say we're not going to be far off estimate. Maybe, worst case scenario, I'll say maybe about 5 minutes under. It definitely won't be over.
I gotcha. Okay, that at least helps me with, timing when I should get in contact with the next runner. And for anyone that wants to, close the, what do we have, $75 gap between Daisy and Donkey Kong, or the $122 gap between Waluigi and Donkey Kong. Well, you say that, Rip G. There's a number of runners in the marathon that are world record holders. Oscari, I believe, has got a world record. Even if it's not in the game I run, I'm a world record holder. It's It's not the best. Oh, 2 games actually. I just realized I've got it in 2 games. Nat's a world record holder. Oscar, I can probably help me with some others. We had a number of world record holders.
I actually hold a number of world records on this this version.
You got world records?
At one point, I held the world record for every single run of Battle Game, but somebody's been on and took my Wesker runs, and I've not had it in me to grind it again to take them back. I believe that I could. It's just having that motivation to do it again. Because I did spend a lot of time just solely playing the Battle Game to this game, and I'll be honest, it did burn me out a little bit. I mean, they're incredibly short runs. You're talking like 5-minute runs or less. Apart from one of them, which is Wesker, because that's basically knife only. But even that, I think the world record's currently sitting at about 13 minutes, so it's not like that's a particularly long run.
Yeah. Oscar, I don't have that state of mind. Usually.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm the kind of runner that will, like, if I find a run I like, I will get to like the middle of the leaderboard if it's a kind of largish leaderboard, and I feel like that's around the time you start to hit a wall and you really have to put in effort to see like returns of like smaller and smaller time amounts, and then I'm like, okay, I'm proud. I've decided I'm proud of myself. Let's move on.
No, I can feel you. That's what I did with Resident Evil 2 Remake. So I used to run a lot of Claire B New Game Plus. And when I first started running it, it was brilliant when, like you say, you're making your time saves and you're finding new strats and whatnot. And I broke into the top 20, and that's where I hit my wall. And I've still, to this day, so this is going back, I want to say about 7 or 8 months now. I've still not been able to beat that time.
See, yeah. That's the feeling.
Don't get me wrong, I know that the time's beatable. It's easily beatable. I just can't seem to do it. I feel like I've reached my peak at that run now.
Yeah, and I know that roommate of mine, Dagger, when he got the world record, and this was I think this was very early on in RE2 Remake, that I think that time he hit it, and then that was it. It was like, all right, I'm not fighting for this. I got it here once, and we're good. I think the time on the leaderboard is that time he got when he briefly had that world. I think it was like a day. That was when things were crazy, I'm sure. RE2 Remake's a pretty hot speed game.
Yeah, very popular.
I think he's still like in the top 20 or 25, whichever category it is. I forget. I'd have to look it up.
There's quite a few runners. Oh, there's more runners than what you'd think, though, for 3 Remake.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Because obviously, I mean, I don't think I need to really talk too much about that game. I think everyone knows the criticisms that it's got. I mean, personally, I enjoy it. I enjoy the run, and I enjoyed the game when it came out. I can understand people's issues with it, but I enjoyed it. Ah! Did not mean to hit that. It's a good game, I don't like the run. Same with Village. Village seems to be one that it was incredibly popular when it first landed, and it kind of faded and died as quickly as it came. Because I remember at one point going onto Twitch, and that's all I could see people doing was speedrunning Resident Evil Village. Where am I going? Where am I going? Completely forgot where I was supposed to go then. I think the issue that Village had was that people did just kill it too much.
It's 23rd standard 120 FPS Leon B. I think that's probably the one because he's still 23rd in it. So
Oh, Leon B.
That's the one he had a record in.
It's too long, in my opinion. Yeah. One of the very popular complaints that I've heard about the Village one is the fact that it's too linear. There's basically no RNG involved in it whatsoever. It just literally is just the run.
I'm not a huge fan of games that don't have any RNG because it's you and your mistakes, and that's it.
Yeah.
I can't blame anyone but myself for my mistakes if it's a game that's just pure tech, pure skill.
See, as much as we all like to sort of badmouth RNG and complain about it, it does give the game that more interesting spin.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And even if it's not an RNG thing that causes me to screw up, I'm absolutely going to say it's RNG and move on with my life. RNG.
I mean, you have to, don't you?
Mess me up.
I hear it so much. Like, I can't believe how bad that RNG was there, and you're sitting watching the person just knowing that it's nothing at all to do with RNG.
Yeah, it's either RNG or dropped input. Those are the two things. It's like, I don't know that you dropped an input as much as you just didn't press the button. At least when you meant to. Is there any like learning or getting used to like adjusting to playing the game in a different language, or is it pretty straightforward?
No, it's quite straightforward, I found. That was something that, I was really worried about when it came to learning Resident Evil speedruns.
Yeah.
But no, it's quite an easy adjustment, I found.
It's usually like either impossible or you have to put in a bunch of time just to understand menus and stuff for, a different language run, or it's like, just know to press up or down, don't even have to worry about what it is, just memorize, inputs or whatever, and then you're good.
See, I'm sure it's probably the same with any game, full stop, to be honest, but because it's only predominantly Resident Evil that I run. I mean, I find with it that you get to the stage where it's more muscle memory than anything.
Yeah.
You're not really thinking too much about what you're doing.
Yeah. Where you can really mess up is like, and again, I say this as someone that just plays and runs RPGs, is if you're playing like, I don't know, Super Mario RPG or something. It's in Japanese, and you and your muscle memory betrays you, and then you have to like figure out, where is this item I'm supposed to be equipping. I think I put it in the wrong spot in my inventory. I've got to now figure out which of these things says like whatever hat. And so it's maybe good to know just how to pick out the things that are important to you.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a bit of an issue. I'm actually now starting to get the sense that I've vastly overestimated, because, I mean, I could be wrong, because, well, we got poisoned, so that's going to have an impact, but
Yeah.
I want to say I've got maybe about 20 minutes left.
Okay, thank you for telling me. I was sitting here like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and send a message to the next room. That will be fine.
I mean, if needs be, if I'm massively underestimate, I can always throw a battle game run into the end of it, because that'll only take about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see where you are at the end.
I'll tell you this now, I'll end up getting stuck at a part and keep dying, and it's just going to take me forever. But no, well, touch wood, there isn't anywhere that I should be dying now. The only place really that I ever get a little bit worried that I might die on this game is the Nosferatu fight. Although that said, these hunters can be a bit of a meme.
Yeah, the only RE game I really don't feel like I know. Well, I know there's a lot of maybe more obscure RE games, and I'm kind of not including those. I feel like the one I know the least about maybe is Zero.
Yeah, it's not a very popular game, that.
Yeah, I was gonna follow up by saying, and I think I'm not the only one that is like forgets that it exists sometimes.
I don't even know how to describe Zero, because, I mean, sometimes I enjoy it, and other times I really can't stand it. It's certainly strange.
I definitely don't know anything about the speedrun, and all I really know is from like watching people play. I guess there's like a Wesker mode or playing as Wesker where you're just like ridiculous and eye blasting things or something. I can't remember. I really don't remember much about that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the run because I've never attempted to speedrun it, and I don't believe I ever will.
Yeah.
The only reason I say I don't believe I ever will is the amount of times that I've said, "Oh, I'll never, I won't learn the run for XYZ Resident Evil," and then a week later I'm doing it.
Words can't describe is a good phrase. maybe we've talked about it before. What other games have you run? Is it just Resident Evil stuff, or?
The only things that I've ever speedrun have been Resident Evil, yeah.
That seems like a thing that, like, if you run Resident Evil, I know there are people that run things other than Resident Evil, but I also feel like there's a lot of people that run only Resident Evil things.
I just don't know. I don't know where I'd start learning a different run now.
If you were, do you think it would be like horror-ish type of games, or is it not the horror element that is? I mean, I guess there's not a horror element to speedrunning this game because it becomes not remotely horror really when you're speedrunning it. But I don't know. I'm fascinated. I would never run a Resident Evil game, and I'm fascinated by people that only run Resident Evil games.
I think the next, because I have considered in the past learning a run that isn't Resident Evil, and the one that I keep coming to is actually Metal Gear Solid.
Well, that's in my alley. I love anything MGS. So.
Well, number one, because I love the game. And
absolutely.
Number two, I know quite a lot of MGS runners, so I'd have I'd have a lot of people teach me the run.
Yeah, I know that the MGS speedrunners are pretty solid, tight knit community. At least that's the what I've come away with, because I know I follow. I'm familiar with the GDQ mainstays, like what Jaguar King I know runs a lot of MGS games, and why am I blanking on his name? Plywood. I'm thinking there's a few others that I'm just blanking on, but yeah, no, I love watching any MGS game speedrun, but MGS 1 in particular's got some, because of the different versions and whatnot, there's a lot of cool different kinds of speedrun you can get just out of that one game. Like at this event that I had last year, it wasn't called Runs to the Rescue, but it was the version of this event I had last year. I ran Twin Snakes. Very poorly, but it was fun. It was a very fun and funny run, because I like how silly, how ridiculous the Twin Snakes is.
See, I like the game. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's really nice on the eye, but the music score is ridiculous.
And that's something I've said in the past to a lot of people, that like one of the most important things to me about a speedrun is that it have like good sound design and good music, because I'm gonna be hearing it a lot, so I better not be getting annoyed by by the music and the sound design. So I feel like there's a thread amongst a lot of the games that I run, it's that they are at least fun, they're pleasant to hear when you're watching me run it. I don't have tolerance for it. There's a couple meme type games that I run that are terrible, but then that's just funny and silly, and I don't grind those anyway.
I have a feeling I might have forgot to do something here.
Sorry if my talking is throwing you off.
No, for some reason it's something that I've done a couple of times recently now. So, when I was coming back through this corridor early, you're supposed to nip into here to turn the power off. But for some reason, the last couple of times I've ran this game, I've just forgotten to do it. You definitely don't want to be playing around with them. So the purple ones, to explain for anyone that maybe doesn't know, the purple hunters, if you will, they're what are actually called sweepers, but they're poisonous, and they're just so much more aggressive than what a normal hunter is. And the danger being is that, if they hit you and they put you into poison, not only does your health start to deplete, but attacks they're more damaging to you as well. So you can find that basically you can get a run ended because you've got a bad sweeper. I've had a run died to that exact one there. So usually you wouldn't ever see this room in a speedrun, but obviously, because we were poisoned by Nosferatu, this is what we now have to do. So on the standard definition version, I want to say it adds between 2 and 3 minutes onto your run. If it's on the HD version, especially if you're running door skip, it's not the end of the world. You're probably talking 45-50 seconds. But obviously, because we've got the door animations and this elevator animation in particular.
I gotcha. I guess for folks in the chat, I don't know if, because I'm in and out chatting with other folks, the door skip is like there's usually like what this is like a mod or for like I know it's for various types of games. I know it exists in. Is it in RE3 or is there just a way to get? No, it's like fast door and slow door. That's what that is. I'm trying to remember. I know that. How does that work? I'm just talking myself into a corner at this point. When you say door skip, what are you talking about?
It does exist to a degree in RE3. It's just worked out a little differently. So you can't, once you hit the door, you can't then just skip the animation immediately. You have to wait. And the fast and slow door thing is in RE3, obviously, how long the animation is displayed for before you can skip it. So with the earlier Resident Evil games, what happens is the door will appear, the start of the animation will appear, and then you press a button to just completely skip it. Now, with the HD version of Code Veronica, it's just completely taken them out of the game, so you don't have to trigger it. Well, we made short work of her. Knife only. I actually think she's worse than Nosferatu for knife only. Now, where possible, there
know.
you just want to avoid those zombies, because even if you kill them, when you come back here in a moment, there's going to be a completely fresh set anyway, and obviously it's quicker to do.
Got an $11.11 donation from I Am Daisy, who says, "Hi, I'm Daisy." That's actually not from me somehow. Thank you for the 1111. Appreciate it. We're at 51111. I promise I'm gonna have another goal at the end once I figure out what I'm gonna make as a goal.
How many more runs is there in total, including tomorrow?
Let's see. There's 3 after this tonight, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, 6 runs. But I gotta figure out what I'm gonna fill my block with. So that's 3, 4, 6, so about 10 more runs. We got some time left. That's actually a good idea, Oscar. Maybe 690 is where we want to go. That'd be funny. We're not aiming for 69,420. That's maybe a little too ambitious.
Maybe just a touch.
About 694 and 20 cents.
To the moon, as the kids say.
To the moon. I'm actively trying to figure out how to extend the milestone.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around the 2-hour mark on the timer when this
Okay.
when the run finishes.
We got about 7.5 minutes.
Give or take, yeah. I mean, that's mainly because officially you have to wait until the end of the credits for the run to be finished. But the good thing is about this emulator is that you can speed up that process.
I pitched in the 20 that I promised myself I'd pitch in for Daisy. I didn't want to snipe it because that'd be weird if the organizers sniped it, but I put in my 20 for Daisy. So 123.11 to 167. There's 40. What is that? $44. Doable. I'm guessing not, but I knew I was going to give at least another 20, so I thought I'd make it look respectable. Thank you, me, for your donation.
But anyone that's been in my channel before will be very familiar with this bit of music now. It's probably between this and the ending credits to RE3 Original, is my favourite bits of music in a Resident Evil game. I remember on one run putting in the name Victoria there on that password. Where that came from, I don't know. And the worst thing about it was that my partner at the time was commentating. So she's then sat there like, who the hell's Victoria? Who's Victoria? I was like, oh god, no!
Ooh, 45 from Luigi. Hold on. Oh. $45 from Luigi, who says, shoutouts to my girl Daisy. Alright. 168.11 for Daisy, 167 for Donkey Kong. Thank you, kind soul, for donating and supporting Daisy. 576.11. Thank you all so much.
I mean, really, that's the end of the game. But then the run, like I say, the run doesn't finish until the results screen gets displayed. And unfortunately, in the standard death version, you can't skip the final cutscene. You have to leave it playing through with the credits. But what we can do is press this little button and make it go faster.
I don't know why I just typed that to you. Yes, I did, Toast. Oh, that's cool.
Well, especially when you see how long it actually is. So the worst version to play is the PlayStation 4 version, because then you've got to sit through this, you can't speed it up, and it's a direct port of the PlayStation 2 version, so it's just horrendous to try and speedrun.
It's good to know that's the version I have. I haven't played it yet, but it's the version I have.
Well, to give you an idea, this run that I've just done now, if I replicated this one on the PlayStation 4 version, it would probably take around about 3.5 hours. Because the movement's slower, the menuing's slower, the text scrolling's slower.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally anything you can think of about that version, it's slower.
Gotcha.
Oh, there we go, we have time.
Got it at one RTA at least. We got a 157 something.
Yeah, 157.
Usually go by
30,
RTA or IGT, right?
Yeah, well, Code Veronica, the runs are timed by IGT. The only reason, obviously, that's showing 2 hours 3 is the fact that if you use the turbo on the emulator, it does also speed up the in-game time as well. So the in-game time will obviously change to reflect it.
I gotcha. Sorry, I got another donation and it immediately bummed me out. That's a joke. It didn't bum me out. Let me read it real fast. $5 from Cheeburger Elkmont, who says, in all caps, Jake, please, it has been, that's my name, I'm Jake. Jake, please, it has been 24 hours since my message. Have you taken Remy to Cheeburger Elkmont yet? Please, have you not seen that video of Zia? It's so cute. I want to see Remy smile like this too. Jake, please, I miss you. Thank you for your $5. Now DK's in the lead by $4. I'm gonna let everyone know right now before we sign off. Sorry to it's at the end of the run and I just like butted in. 5:55, so 55 on the hour wherever you are for the most part. That would be 55 on the hour. That's when I'm cutting it off. So the second my monitor, the clock on my monitor says 55, that's the cutoff. So if you want to donate, get it in. All right. Well, Liam, thank you so much. This was a pleasant evening for myself, chatting with you once Matt left, and definitely thank you to Matt for contributing there for the first part of the run.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a really enjoyable experience, and I'll definitely make sure I'll keep my eye out for the any in the future, and hopefully we'll see if you'll have me back.